All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video looking back at rookie minicamp. Check out Pig in a Pickle, the best location, the two locations in Northern California, the best barbecue in Northern California you can find in Emeryville or Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in Marin from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. All right, let's talk about a player that really stood out to me at the minicamp. And I knew nothing about this player. And, I didn't think anything of it when they signed him. And when I read the scouting reports, nothing really stood out. But then the combination of reading about him and watching him, the more I like him. And he really stood out to me Friday at minicamp. It's the Hawaii offensive lineman, Ilm Manning. This guy was a 60-game starter at left tackle. He doesn't have tackle size in the NFL. He may not even have guard size. He's a little undersized by at all measurements, but he's definitely not a tackle. But he definitely blocks with power. He stays square. He's a good athlete. You can see that he effectively uses his hands. His hand placement's nearly perfect. He's strong. The feet stay moving. He looks like the kind of guy who understands how to turn defenders. He looked really veteran-like watching him at minicamp. And he seems like he understands angles. He locks on with his pads. He drives those legs. He looked really fluid getting to that second level. He looked like the kind of guy who in space could find somebody to hit him. I liked it. I liked what I saw. Now, he was a productive player in college and a very durable player the past 5 years at the University of Hawaii. Average size. They don't think he's much of an athlete, viewed at kind of average as an athlete across the board, but a very intelligent prospect who looks like he might be able to win a roster spot. I liked what I saw. I mean, I seriously, this guy looked good to me. He's got experience. He started 60 games at left tackle for Hawaii across 5 seasons. And left tackle is obviously the toughest spot. He started off under Nick Rolovich, and then under Timmy Chang. So he's been well coached. And according to Pro Football Focus, his 3 best pass blocking grades, including a high of 78.7, came in 2018, 2019, and 2022 under those 2 coaches. So I don't think that's accidental. He also got pretty good grades from 2 guys that I respect quite a bit. He's a very sound technician in the trenches. Dane Brugler and Tony Pauline, in their scouting reports, both mention how well Manning uses his hands. And Brugler added that he stays light in his movements. So he's not, he's under 300 pounds. So he's not what you're looking for size-wise in a guard for every scheme. He doesn't really have tackle size, despite the fact that he played left tackle. But, man, when you watch this guy, he looks comfortable on the field against athletic players. He's got good weight distribution. He really does. Talking about 6'2", roughly 300 pounds. So he to me, he's a left guard or a right guard, but he's intriguing. He's really intriguing. He's undersized, but he's got a little bit of a frame where he could put on some weight. And if you watch him execute blocks, whether you turn on his Hawaii film or just watched him in minicamp, this guy looks like he could execute blocks at the next level. He's a good pass protector. He definitely needs a little bit. To me, he's a better pass protector than a run blocker. So he probably needs to add some value as a run blocker. But this guy's intriguing. He's 300 pounds. He looks good on the field. He really does. He really looks good. So, I'll say this. If there was one spot at the minicamp that kind of stood out as far as, wow, the 49ers may have a little bit more talent than you think, it's probably that offensive line where, you had Joey Fisher in this camp. Now, Fisher had some problems dealing with the heat, but he looks the part, that's for sure. Then you got Ilm Manning, who really showed well for himself. I thought Leroy Watson, who was in their camp last year, looked really, really good. You had Jason Poe out there. Nick Zakelj wasn't out there, but according to John Lynch, he's doing really, really well. I thought Alfredo Gutierrez in practice, the best I've ever seen him look. He was popping people, and he looks like he's worked on his body quite a bit. So the 49er offensive line, it might be a little deeper than you think. Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, Colton McKivitz are your ones. Then you got Matt Pryor, Jason Poe, John Feliciano, Nick Zakelj, Jalen Moore. That's 5 more. Then you got Leroy Watson, Joey Fisher, Ilm Manning, Alfredo Gutierrez, Corey Luciano, and Keith Ishmael. So they've got 3 solid lines of prospects, and they're probably only going to be able to take 8, maybe 9. You're going to have the starting 5 plus 3 backups, maybe 4. But I'll tell you, and they got great depth here. So Pryor's got NFL experience. Feliciano's got NFL experience. Jalen Moore's got NFL experience. But, I mean, Zakel's coming on. Fisher's going to be a guy to watch. And watch for Ilm Manning. Ilm. Interesting guy, man. I'm telling you. You wait until you see this guy out on the football field. He's got balance. He's got strength. He's got movement ability. He looks like he's got the potential to put on some weight. He definitely looks like he understands the right hand placement. So in some ways, he's really refined for a young player. You don't always see that. A lot of times that part is the part that has to be coached. But he really stood out to me as an athlete. A couple times he walled guys off and had good angles and good body lean, and he looked real natural doing it. He moves a lot quicker than you think he would. And yeah, while he played left tackle, he clearly, by looking at him, you can say, oh yeah, he's not a left tackle. He's probably not a tackle at all, but he might be a versatile inside guy. And suddenly that competition for those backup spots along the Niners offensive line is looking pretty juicy. That could be a pretty good battle. You figure, obviously, Trent, Banks, Brendel, Burford, McKivitz, those guys start. And I would say Zakelj, Feliciano are probably there. So that's 7. So that means that Pryor and Poe and Jalen Moore, plus Ilm Manning, Joey Fisher, the rest of the guys, Leroy Watson, maybe competing for 1 spot, maybe 2. So the competition this summer along the offensive line for the 49ers promises to be intense. And don't forget the name Ilm Manning from the University of Hawaii. Left tackle experience, but overall just a good combination of traits between intelligence, body type, athleticism, weight potential. I could see this guy being a practice squad guy for them this year. I could see him definitely making the team at some point, but I also think that a year from now, he could be 315 pounds or 310 pounds on that same frame, and really an exciting prospect that they think has future starter potential. So remember the name Ilm Manning from the University of Hawaii. All right, hope you enjoyed our 49er video. Check out Pig in a Pickle in Emeryville and Corte Madera. And thanks to all of you for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.